Hello, everyone. Day 11, week 3. I'm so excited to start this morning. Had a good, nice, restful weekend. Let's see, last time we talked, oh, by the way, we're building a startup live on video, sort of. Last week we had done like the first foundation, just a couple hours in the morning each day for the code site that we had going on. We just want to get our code going. And you can go to the website and there's stage and dev servers, and you can log in and make a little board and shuffleboard. Well, you can't really shuffle yet. The board part is done. The shuffleboard is in progress. Excuse me. And now we want to continue. Let's see. We kind of got hung up on some security rule stuff, and I want to tackle that today. Last time we did a video that we talked about all the ways that complexity can just kind of like come into play about this point in the app development process. There's just so much happening, and we got so many ideas. And then every time you do something, or you take a look at your wireframe, or you look at your, whatever, you just got another idea, and then all these ideas come into play. And you start to get overwhelmed. Like, okay, once we build this board and we fix these security rules, then what? And then you can just start poking around and doing little stuff forever and never launch. We don't want that. We want to get this thing out into the world. So the thing I want to start off with today, that I've been holding off on a little bit, but I think it's time, is I'm going to put together a little bit of a backlog. And this is just a set of, it's a to-do list. That's all it is, priorities that we want to work on. Now, it's got a couple unique features to this backlog. Obviously, I'm a team of one, so I'm not going to have a shared backlog really, but even if I did have a shared backlog with other people, it would be important for me to have it in just one place, not have multiple backlogs with lots of different competing priorities. I just want to have one list of priorities. And speaking of priorities, they're going to be in sort of an order of priority, meaning roughly in order of when I should do them. I'm going to also add some milestones in there to show you how it works. Let's just dive into it, and it won't be too hard. I've been doing these in Asana. Oh, I got to log in. You can do this in anything. Trello's good. It's just sometimes like you have to scroll side to side a lot to see all your stuff. GitHub, the old Jira. There's lots of different ways to do this. I'm gonna go into I have a little director project here. Create a new project. Cross-functional project. Blank. And we're going to call it Shuffleboard. I like to go with the list. All right, here's our empty Shuffleboard project. So we'll just kind of get started here today. So we know that we want to do this. We want to finish or like let users add cards to a board, and we know we want to add multiple, users can have multiple slides in a board. So let's talk about a couple things I'm going to do here. First, I'm using this sort of thing users can X, and I'm going to even be more specific and say facilitators. Is that spelled right? I just feel like there should be more S's and L's, I'm telling you. Okay, all right. So I'm going to try to be specific about who can do this thing, just helps me organize it. Rather than saying build the code that does X, Y, Z, because I don't really want to worry about how the code's going to work. I want to give myself flexibility later to figure out how to do the thing. I just want to figure out what goal we're trying to accomplish. And the real goal is this. So users can blank is a good way to phrase yourself on that goal. Rather than say run second migration to something, and then you just get lost in a mess of these tasks. So let users add. Users can add. I'm even going to say participants. Cool. And this one's in progress, and this one's waiting. So I'm going to add a section here in progress. And then in the sign, you can just add a colon right there. Try to create a shortcut. I don't know what that is even. Ooh, they must have changed it. So look, that's in progress. And I could say this is to do. Basically, you put your to-dos in order here, and you sort them, and then you just do the top one next is the general idea behind these. And if you're always sorting them in the order of most important to least important, then you can just do that and not have to think about it much. And then when it's time to do some work, you just do whatever is at the top, which is going to be the most important. It sounds easy and obvious, but a lot of people don't do this. Have a clear list of what's the most important thing for them to be working on. There are other things besides just to do here. I mean, for example, we're going to need to add Google Analytics. Track. You add Google Analytics. And we maybe want to add error tracking, front-end error tracking. So if something goes wrong in React, I get a little notification on my phone and I can figure out what the hell happened. And so I'm going to add another section here called just before launch. And these are going to definitely happen before launch, but they're not as urgent right now. And so you kind of get this, you kind of start to realize that, like, well, this is maybe a hybrid of urgency and importance, but that's okay. This is just kind of how I do my projects. I call this ready sometimes, which is something like I want to do next, or sometimes I call it next. It just depends on the day I'm having. I usually have a section called soon, which is, okay, this isn't the next thing I'm going to do, but really it should be called ready, because soon is often not quite ready for work. Like things I know I want to work on, but I have to think about a little bit more. Just like spend some time letting the database shake out in my head, or I have to do some research or something. And sometimes when I'm doing a task, that means kind of designing it and coding it in this sense, but things that are sort of ready, need to work before they can be done, generally are things that I do when I'm not in coding mode. And so my general habit is to get coding a bit in the morning, and then if I have time in the afternoon, try to look back and just get ready for the next day's work. Ready soon before launch. So I'm going to say there's another milestone we need here. I guess I got to do it this way now. That's probably for the best. I want to do like a test meeting with a friend. I'm not really sure who yet. I guess I'll have to ask around, but I want to get this in front of a group, not just like a usability test like I did with Jason, which is sort of like, hey, would you know how to use this thing? But really, like, I want to get it in front of some people and try it. So I'm going to say private meeting test. And that'll be before I launch. So how do I want to get that ready? So something I think I know I need for that is like multiple users can join a meeting. That reminds me, something else I wanted to do is have how should this work? There's some sense of organizations, like generally things that are meant for offices or companies have a sense of like an organization. So users have new users have or live in an organization. And that just means like you can name the company here and not just your own name. So I could have a thing for Sam, but if I worked with a bunch of other people at Acme Co, I could say, well, Sam created our account, but Alex at Acme Co also uses it. New users within an organization. I think I'm going to do that pretty soon, because a lot of the security rules we're going to be writing are going to depend on the organization. Like if you're in the org, you can see everybody else's meetings. And so to really get those right, we're going to have to do that pretty soon. I think that might be more important than this facilitators one. So there's going to be a private meeting test. before launch, there's going to be a launch. You know this is going to be a launch, and that's going to mean just like there's going to be some sort of like press thing. So I'm going to say, I know I'm going to want to post on social media when we launch, and I know before launch, I'm going to want to write potential, write journalists, bloggers who might be interested in writing about shuffleboard. So I just want to have like, this what to do is my entire PR strategy, which ain't gonna be much for an early stage startup, but just like generally if people have written articles about design tools before and you're putting your effort into a launch, then you might want to just let them know just in case they want to write an article about you. All right, what's the milestone after launch? Well, there's gonna be like for later. So like anything that doesn't make the cut for launch is gonna go into this section. I just know there's gonna be stuff. And then I usually have a section called maybe, which is stuff that I don't even know if I want to do this later, but I had the idea. And this is usually most useful when you have an idea and you just like, hey, you're an organization, well, maybe not. You don't necessarily put new stuff there, but it's just a place to demote things. And then I sometimes have a won't fix or won't do section. But we might just delete that section because if you're really not going to do it, you can just delete the task. Things that go there usually don't come out of there. Okay. So this is helpful to me. I've got a little list of what I want to work on. Let's go to Whimsical. And take a look at our prototype and see what else we might be missing from this list. We're going to want to do SEO. Just like, not a ton of SEO, just like some meta tags with like description and stuff, so people, when they come to the site and they see it in Google, they have a general sense of what this thing does. Oh, we're going to have to shoot a video. I have to decide on pricing. Just like a video that explains how it works, why I made it. What else did I just say? I'll do some landing pages. Ooh, needed terms. So landing page for I'll just say landing pages for now. We want to make some specific landing pages that describe the benefits of shuffleboard for specific sections of our market, or really just like specifically people who might use this. We want to talk a little bit specifically to them, like, hey, this is a general tool, but if you're trying to do X, it's really specifically useful to you. So I'm going to say designers, because I'm one, and I know that that's a thing, but it's also going to be, that might not even really be the main use case. Let's say like sprint, Scrum meetings, so that's Scrum Masters / just Agile software, devs, PMs in general, workshops, anybody looking for just brainstorm software, teachers maybe, I feel like there's more. Terms of service, we're gonna need that. Try to start these with verbs. So if it says add terms of service, it means I got to do it. If it says users can add terms of service, it means users can do it, or just build the thing that lets people do that thing. Okay, so we have to build a pricing page. Users. Let's not even do pricing page. Let's say users can upgrade or can purchase a subscription over the phone, users can purchase a subscription via Stripe. So why 2 of these? Well, first of all, users can purchase a subscription over the phone. So you can imagine there's a lot of subtasks that are going to happen there. You're going to have to be able to show them that there's a subscription available. You're going to have to let them go to a settings page so they can even click the button. You're going to have to hook it up to Stripe. You're going to have to set up Stripe. So all those subtasks, I just know I'm going to have to do all that, but I don't want to have to like enumerate all of that. That's the beauty of the user story. If I do any of that, I should be doing all of it because otherwise it doesn't matter. I have to get them at least to the point where they can purchase a subscription. I'm going to say over the phone because if I set up subscriptions, I could set it up with my database, etc., potentially, and get it hooking up with Stripe and stuff, where I can take their credit card information over the phone, just put it into Stripe. It'll still be super compliant and super secure, and then I don't have to build the front end to handle that right away. Excuse me. But now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think it's a little premature. Because although that might be the case, if I'm remembering correctly what the new Stripe tools work like, delete. I don't know that is actually going to be much more incrementally more difficult than just getting a subscription in there. I'm going to say for an org. Just meaning when they buy a subscription, it should be at the organization level or the team level, not an individual subscription. Okay, so between private meeting test and before launch. So a launch to me is like a press launch. It's like a marketing launch. Like you say, hey world, we built this thing. This is what's going on. Take a look. But it doesn't mean shipping. It's not the time you ship the code live. Like when you launch, you should already have shipped the code and have customers using it and liking it, so that when you launch, you know that it actually is useful. You've taken care of all the, you don't want to launch everybody and then have a bunch of like crappy loose ends like that you haven't tidied up yet. That's bad. So we want to have like a separate one here called private beta. There's a lot of these categories, but that's okay. So we're gonna have a new milestone called private beta. And that just means that I'm trying to get a couple companies using this thing before we have like a big press launch. So there'll be like one meeting, a smaller private beta group, and then a launch. So this means I actually want Google Analytics before my private beta. I need this before the private beta so I can track errors. SEO meta tags I don't really need. See, that's the power of this stuff. Like you wouldn't have necessarily done this stuff first, but when you think about what you need it for, you can try to just do stuff just in time. Participants to add card support. All right. I think we just need a login page. I'm just going to say it like that because users can log in. It's already technically true, but we need to do a better job. And then users can create an account, log in with an email address. So that's going to be interesting. Where does that go? Maybe before launch? Because I don't think I need that for private beta. And if we do, we'll build it. And if I have that, we need password resets and verified emails. This onboarding thing we're going to really mix up based off of Jason's, based off the user test we did. I think I need to move this over here maybe or something. We're gonna play with that. Okay, so That needs to happen pretty soon. So this board from a template just means start a new sprint retro rather than literally an empty meeting. Users can create their own templates. That means this whole thing. So they could create a template, which is just a list of questions. So I'm going to say maximum number of answers. Interesting one. Oh, this is it. I mean, users can join a meeting with the say short link. That's this thing here. Use I'm not sure about this thing here. I think there might be another real onboarding screen rather than this, so I'm going to hold off on that for now. So this whole idea of participants can see it. Basically, you just need the participants have a separate view. Okay, all this stuff. So I'm just thinking about what the roles, that's what it's really called. That stuff here. Billing, there's a lot of billing stuff. Okay, so users can change. We already have the subscribe thing, but we need time reminders in an email. Yeah. I don't know what this is. Okay guys, this is already getting kind of long just based off of the stuff we had already. That's good. It means that, you know, we have a lot of good ideas. We don't have to do all this stuff. Oh, subscriber, thank you. All right. We don't have to do all this stuff. We just have to sort it, and so we know what we actually want to work on. So for example, users can change their name and their profile picture. If you're logging in with Google, you kind of get it already. So I don't even think we need that when you launch. You know, the goal with you when you're thinking about this stuff is like, okay, kind of like, honestly, it's straight maybe. You want to try to get to the point where this thing is awesome and useful. Everybody wants simple software, right? Everybody's like, well, what's the most important thing in software? Well, it needs to get the job done. True. What else do you need? Well, it needs to be simple and easy to use. Okay. So if it has to be simple, that means we can't build it just a ton of features and cram everything on one single page, which is how everybody goes about this. So you want to build as little as you can to make it do the job that people need. And how do you do that? Well, you can't just like not build stuff, because then your app will suck. You have to build the things that are important. You have to prioritize the things that are really going to make their life amazing. And so they'll get there and be like, this is amazing, it does exactly what I need, and it doesn't do any of this other stuff. There's a fit, basically. And so you have to decide what's in the fit and what's not. And the fit for this, the thing that we're trying to build is like that great experience. So, you know, is changing their name part of that fit? Probably not, but is being able to, you know, create meeting from a template? Yeah, it definitely is. Okay, so let's just sort these. Help in app, yes. We need that before a private beta. You want to be able to do that. Create their own templates. I don't actually know that we need to have that, because when we do a private meeting test, we can make a template manually. So I'm just trying to push this stuff down. Anything I can get lower in this list, anything I can put off to a later milestone, I'm gonna. So that's gonna give me fewer things I have to do before I can get to one of those milestones. This time limit stuff would be awesome. I'm gonna say, for later. It kills me because I really want to build that. But I don't know if we even really need it yet. I mean, we'll build it if it comes up in the meeting, we'll bump it back up. Like if we try it and people really want it, we'll bump it back up. Human readable short link. So maybe you can just send out the link in Slack and it's not a big deal. So it's for later. Oh, this hurts. You just get a welcome email. There's really nothing to do here in a private beta. Because we don't know yet. We're going to only build stuff there that we find out from our private meeting test, probably. Facility has multiple slides, and yeah, we need to do that. You can cancel their subscription. We need to do it. Not yet. I think this who else is in a meeting is pretty important. I need to have this before the private meeting test. Participants have a separate meeting view. Can we get by without it? Will the mobile version just work? Maybe. I'm just going to make this more clear. Do during private beta. We need a name for this new milestone. Do here. Where's our subscription? Okay, I didn't really do a ton of this organization. Like, I'm sure it'll go better, but this will just be something I use throughout the project just to like check in and see, you know, where we're at. You know, I'm already noticing that the Google analytics tracking I was planning on doing is pretty far down the list. And that some of this just template board organization stuff is higher on the list, stuff that I need to do. So that's already sort of helping me reframe what I need to work on. And you know, it's funny, it seems a little crazy to do all this stuff because when you get to use an app, like take Whimsical, for example, which we were using before, it's still a pretty early company. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of people who work there, haven't been around for that long. And so, you know, it seems like it has everything. Like, of course you need to have everything before you ship. But the weird thing is that these are, you know, it seems like, why worry about like what you're doing in what order up here when it's all like, it all has to be done before the launch. This is kind of a difference between somebody who's building an app and somebody who's using an app. See, first of all, it's always going to have more detail up front here because you're closer to it, so you can see what's going to happen, like what's coming up next in this early stage. If that makes sense, like you don't know what you're going to be doing later after the launch because it's so far away that that stuff hasn't even come up yet. There's going to be stuff, but you have to do it later. So there's going to be more here. And so that kind of plays some tricks on you. You got to remember that. The other thing is that when you see a product built, like here, let's take Asana, there's so many things you can do here. These things, a lot more, very few, nobody's going to see your app in this state. Some people are going to see it during private beta, but 99.99% of people are going to see it here. So, yeah, although for most people it will appear done, it's not because you did it so that it's done. It's just that people tend to see apps later as they grow. So you don't, as a user, you don't really have access to seeing these really crappy early apps that are brutally prioritized by features because you just tend not to get in there that early unless you're like literally the one building it. But if you're a developer, it's really important, I think, to have this stuff figured out so that you know that you can at least start testing and getting it out there. You don't have to wait forever to ship this thing. It's sort of some kind of survivorship bias, I think, because, you know, although, yes, the developers who built successful apps maybe could have just built them all at once, they might not have ever started building that app if they hadn't had a brutal prioritization framework in advance before, because they might have built some other product that nobody cared about for a year or two, and then never got around to building the one that was going to be successful, and never even realized that that one was going to fail based off of these private meeting tests and the private betas, etc. So I think, I'm sort of trying to talk out loud about why I'm doing this and also think about this list. This line paint is not priority. All right, let's think about some other stuff we have to do. Marketing, we already talked about the video. We need to do design a homepage. We got a basic home landing page. We need to get that ready before we launch, that's for sure. We need a brand, a logo. I'm just gonna say design. So basically, you just need the visual design for the site, just the way that's going to look. Let's look at Firefly, by the way. This is I guess you know what Firefly is by now. Let's just burn through this code real quick and see what is in here that I might also need. Okay, scripts. So I'm just going to say, maybe later, migration scripts. I'm probably going to need something like that at some point. Functions. Excuse me. So, what are these functions doing? They can do a couple things. Basically, there's a search, which I wrote in. Oh, users can like posts. We're going to need that. Subscriptions we already have. What did I call these? Just call them stickies for now. Do I have anything I needed to do in here? Oh, I need a fab icon and an embed preview. An embed preview is like what you see in your Twitter timeline when somebody shares this. Down here. That's the embed preview, strike. We need an error boundary. Okay. I think we're pretty good. We got our backlog done. I think we know what we need to work on. This will evolve as we go, but for now, we have a pretty good working thing. So, but we don't want this ready here though. Maybe soon. Create a board from a template. Oh, we don't need this. But creating a board from a template, new users living in an organization, seeing who else is in a meeting, multiple slides in a board. That stuff, this can go later though. Honestly, you don't even need a logo for launch. You really don't. You need a good design look and feel, but you don't need a fancy logo. You don't even need a logo. You just need to say the name of your thing in the upper left corner. Okay, so this stuff we're going to be working on. We're going to be working on this stuff. I'm going to see if we can't untangle some of that issue we had on Friday. Feeling like we probably can. So maybe I'll just take a stab at that for the rest of the day and see if I can't get us sorted and committed in our code in a good spot. But I'm going to take a quick break first. Okay, we're back. All right, so I got my list here. All right, I want to go and try to fix that code situation from end of last week. Let's see if we can't get ourselves a nice, fancy, real commit that we can like. So I'm just gonna make, doing a shirt return over here. I'm just gonna make a separate spot for this so I can go back and forth because it just helps. And we're gonna run our npm start. Okay, so where were we? Hi, future self. Aw. Rules for these board cards seem to be either block everyone or nobody from access. Okay, I get it. I remember. And the rules are these. I guess I haven't. Rock and roll. Okay, so we need to just read the documentation. RTFM people. Firestore rules. That's the magical insight that was granted to me from Providence when I was thinking this weekend about how am I going to fix this? Oh, I know. I'll read how to do it. Okay. Yeah, we didn't do the simulator stuff. The next one. So basically the rules is saying we're doing Firestore, we're doing our database documents. We're not going to worry about this yet, but this is basically ways you can write more specific rules. Hierarchical data. Yeah, okay. So what I really need is a condition for those rules, because I already have this. The path, intermatch statements, always relative to the map. Okay, we knew that. Recursive wildcards, 1 point. If you want rules to apply to an arbitrarily deep hierarchy, use the recursive wildcard syntax. That's databases. That might be what we need. That's confusing. We need to come back to that. Overlapping match statements. I mean, this might be what we need, right? We're not even using this. I'll say, okay, so what we're gonna say here is, hey, in boards, this stuff should apply to boards and like anything even in that board. And then let's check this. When recursive web path match one or more path items. They do not match an empty path. So matches documents in the sub-collections, but not in the cities collection. Oh, but I'm not doing this. I'm doing where's from measure. Yeah, so I have, so it's all good. What is version 2? And how do I even switch to that? I feel like I should have rules version 2 just because it's version 2, but I don't think I need it right now. Okay, so we got a new set of rules up here. God, come on. All right, I'm logged in because it says go to dashboard. Permission denied. Could not get board and card info. Do I have created bys on all these cards? This is like the white whale. Created by J. Created by J. Created by J. Cards. Created by J. Created by J. Created by J. Well, it's all working. I'm going to still just get rid of everything just in case. Oh, well, I deleted the boards I was testing, so that will do it. Okay, so we're still having card permission errors. Let's try that simulator. Maybe that'll work. Actually, I guess I can just grab it from here. so we know that this is working as expected because we can see the board. Now, if we go to cards, path must be document level, so I gotta boards, something, C, cards, H. Oops. Allowed. So what I'm doing here must be different from my code. Let's give it a whirl. Ooh, got boards and card info. So maybe it was working, my test was just still bad. So you're still broken. Why are you still broken? Excuse me. Yeah, that doesn't work. Boards. Strangest thing, okay. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna give myself access to the global Firestore Firebase so I can use it in my console. So I can do this. And now I can try our test rules in browser here and just like compare directly to what the hell is going on. I just know I'm gonna kick myself so hard when I get this stuff done. Okay, so we're getting the card here, but it's not getting it here. Boards, ZDS, collection, cards. You know, maybe it's an issue with our library that's actually getting this stuff. Maybe it's just that it doesn't work that way. Could that be true? Boards, board ID, cards. I just get it from a path the way I'm doing this path here. say these in? I don't know. There's no example, but it doesn't say it shouldn't work. Let's just do a quick test. Well, that's actually maybe good. It worked. So we're getting it here. So that means this is getting it. Why isn't it getting it in here? We're just gonna slowly match these until like everything's the same. Something's gonna work at some point. What is the attribute of that I called it? SDFG. Right, well, that makes sense. Okay, so we know that this is working. I have this feeling that I'm just going to kick myself so hard when this checks out. So what's different about these two? Path, boards, parent collection. Let's hard code the board ID just in case. Let's match the format that we're using here. I can't imagine it would make a difference. Okay. Must be a typo. They seem identical. One works and one doesn't. Well, the rules are different. Oh. I bet this request resource.data, maybe that's not the same. No, but we just tested and the rules work. I mean, if this is broken, I'm confused. If this makes it work, I'm really confused. I really don't want to work in these rules that much because I'm gonna have to rewrite them anyway as soon as we get organizations going, you know? So it works. So it's something with these rules. Maybe it's that specific thing, Firestore, read, list, because I'm listing them versus reading a single one. Read should do both of those things. Yeah, wait a minute. I can still create an update, can't I? But this worked in the security rules tester. Maybe Firebase ain't so easy after all, people. All right, guys. I'm just bashing my head against the wall on this one. Maybe I should just let it go because we're gonna have to fix it anyway once we do boards and stuff. Once we do organizations and stuff like that, is what I mean. My brain is just not turned on right now. Let's test our rules on our tester here. Okay, so what we've got right now is we've got this test thing here. I'm going to use this. And the rules we have lets you write based off of these requirements, but it allows anybody to read a card. We don't want this to be the case. Can I say we could keep it read for now. We're going to want to fix that as soon as we can. But for now, theoretically, you can read cards. And that's going to let us keep going on this. And once we get enough in place that we can actually rewrite these rules, we'll have to take another stab at that. So I'm just going to clean this up and get it committed and good to go. Okay. Test rules thing. I'm going to do I would like to get rid of this and maybe use that Java thing we talked about before, but for now, we're just going to do it this way. Make sure we have something to check back with later. Okay, so all we're doing is just adding a little test rules thing here. Thing called test rules. All right, guys, we'll take a break. Be back soon. All right, guys, I took a quick break. I kind of just paced back and forth in my apartment for a few minutes trying to think about my options. It's really annoying. I really want to get these security rules right because everything we build on this has to have them. And so if we don't have them now, like, we can keep building for sure, but we're going to have to get them eventually. And so I want to just try a couple quick more things. I don't want to spend that much time on it today, but I just want to try a couple more things to see if we can't just get a better testable state in place. And the first thing I want to try is just, I'm going to pull up a sketch file to show you what I'm thinking. First of all, come on, okay. So, first of all, I'm going to try the Firebase emulator. We got so close last time, but we just needed to install Java, and so maybe I'm just going to install that, the JDK or whatever it is, and see if that'll just work. And if it just works, great. So that'll be something we try first. The second thing I want to try is just thinking about how to not have nested collections. I think the whole idea of nested collections are a little weird to me. And basically what we're doing is we're saying, hey, here's a bunch of stuff. Like here's like a collection of, in a database diagram, it would be like, here's our, it's boards right now. And in boards, you can have a single board. Like you can have a lot of little boards. that live inside boards. This is our box of boards. Right? Now, the way that Firebase is doing it right now is inside one of these boxes, a board, we have a thing called cards. And inside that is our cards. And this is not really how normal databases work, and it's kind of freaking me out a little bit. Excuse me. So what we could do instead is just have boards and cards at the top level. And this would be a lot easier to write security rules for. I think I could make it work better. And then when you get cards, you just say, show me all these cards for this board. It's really tempting to do that, and maybe we will. Should I just do that right off the bat? Well, I'm going to install the JDK anyway because I know that I want to write these security rule tests either way, whichever method I use. And I know that that might take a while, so if I have to do it and then restart my computer or something, I'll just want to come back to that tomorrow. So let's just do that real quick. And then maybe we can break this out. We'll have to start thinking about organizations too, and a lot of other things. I think I installed the emulator. Let's see what happens when I try to start it. To use the Java command line tool, you need to install a JDK. All right, folks, it's what it's come to. Java 8 update 2.1.1, baby. Love a good Java update 2.1.1. This is taking me back. I learned how to, my first programming language I ever learned a little bit of was Java in college. And yeah, as much as JavaScript drives me nuts right now. Oh, come on. Do you Java? I just on JD. Okay, I thought I did. Help. Okay, hold on. We need to go to Firebase emulator JDK. So I definitely don't have one. I tried to install one. That's different. Holy crap. Oh man. Guys, this is wild. Okay. I guess this is what we want. This is so comically bad. Can I npm install JDK? Oh man, maybe I can. Nope, that's not what that is. I don't know. Guys, you're on this ride with me right now, okay? Because this is not what I plan to be doing today. Oh, I know I need to get this, basically ready to go if I'm going to do it. I need a test folder. In that test folder, I need a file called test.js. There's a better way to be doing that. That test.js needs to contain some of this business. JDK 12.0.1. Yeah, this is the good stuff, guys. I'm sorry, my poor computer, all the just stuff I'm throwing on it. Moment of truth, y'all. Hey. That's not what I meant. Hey, look at that. Okay, so we may have gotten some kind of Firebase emulator running magically. That was so bad. All things over, that's cute. Okay. I mean, I guess I'm just gonna run this. And see what happens. I need to do this real quick to tell it when it's not just gonna let me do it, it's gonna let me mocha. Can I do this? It always fails when I do that. It's annoying. Contains emphasized items. What the hell's wrong with that? Kind of funny how much of development is just Googling shit. Oh, that doesn't mean that there's stuff in it, doesn't it? Well, I gotta figure out what this is. Two problems in this file. Where are they? Oh. Yeah, all right, whatever. Package, test. I don't think I can actually do that. Sorry, React scripts. We will fix you soon enough. Yeah, I think it said that before. Should I do this? Yeah, no, should not just do random shit. Well, let's just have one test for now. How about that? How about that? Oh, I gotta run the emulator. Keep forgetting about that. I guess I need a terminal. My term, iTerm. Since I can't do multiple tabs in VS Code, and that's just because I added an interrobang before my projects here, so the ones I'm usually doing float to the top, and I think that interferes with how this shit works. Can I just do this? Right, CD. Cross your fingers, people. Hell yeah. Boom. Maybe that all before stuff that we were doing is actually, you know, good. So let's just bring this all back. And this should totally fail because there's just all kinds of shit that we're not doing here. Great. So let's write some real tests. I'm just scrolling to see if there's anything I should know about this API. So you can do 2 different auth stuff. That's good. Okay, I think I've got the gist of it. Let's take this for a spin. What happened? Logged in users can create a board. Oh yeah, because that's not at all what I'm doing. I mean, none of this is what I'm doing. Not sure why those passed anyway. Very cool. Did I steal that? It's getting all kind of should this all be one big test? It seems a little nuts. Let's just keep it simple for now. Okay, hey guys, this is good news. We got tests up for our Firebase rules. All it took was a little bit of JDK insanity. This is cool. What the hell is it? Number of times this was tested? That's pretty baller. Hey, so this is better. I'm glad we have this. Firebase debug, Firestore debug. Oh, that's what that's. Firebase debug. Okay. You installed Mocha. I'd rather be using Jest for this, because that's how sort of React app stuff I think just has it. React scripts just does it. But let's just get it committed so we know we have it. Golly, this is neato. Okay. I'm liking it. Just keep our workspace clean here. You know how I feel about I don't know why I don't like these. I heard this thing from Douglas Crockford about like what we should actually be using, and he says always double quotes. And I love Douglas Crockford because his books, The Good Parts, helped me learn how to write JS in the first place. So I'm sorry to do this, but I did it. I don't know why this is all up there. So maybe we should even put these in here, huh? Because this is bad. Yeah, we're running our own little test suite here. This is a little nuts. Basically, we just need to add this to our test suite here. Okay, all I do is just create a board. Can read cards on boards. Cards they wrote. Let's say that. I think this should work. Let's just get rid of 2A. Is that enough? That should work. Because right now our rules just say you can read anything. That's what that really means. How do I set a card first? I'm assuming I can just do it. Let's just see if I can just do it. She's not going to be able to set the one that's supposed to break by definition, so that's functions. Just get close enough for now. So we know these rules aren't even right because I want them to read each other's cards, but what do you use to write cards there? We need to break this out into 2 tests. That's why I use double quotes. So Alice and Bob. Bob creates a card, and the card is Alice trying to get the card, and that should fail based off our rules. This we can delete. We don't need Bob in this picture. All right, so so unfortunately Alice was able to get Bob's card. Oh, but we want to, it's actually set because it's about writing the card. Okay. Ooh, smooth. Smooth. Butter smooth, people. All right. It still bothered me about this. Before is not defined. You know, sorry, I guess that's just how tests work. No, I think I can do that. Yeah, I don't understand. Let's just do this. Is it even ESLint that's telling me this? Apparently not. No, it is. Is it? Disable next line. There we go. That's the testing equivalent of, God, leave me alone, Dad. Ugh. That's just too confusing. It's nice and easy to find my actual tests. All this stuff is whatever. This is dope. So look, now that we got this shit, I'm done with this shit. Ya gown. This job is not so bad after all. Let's see if this thing still runs. Now that I screwed that up. Nice and clean. Okay. Seems to work. Why did I need that again? It's like part of Node. Still works. Okay, that's nice. Sometimes these little commit messages don't capture the drama, the intrigue, the highs and lows of what's going on. I mean, you saw it today. It was wild, okay? We learned how to write tests for Firestore. Finally, we can, that's a big deal. And it was all thanks to Java. We had Java twice. Use Firestore. That's what happened. All right. Let's see, timing, I should probably get going. But maybe I'll pop out in a minute. We'll see how it goes. Most likely I'm going to be done for the day here. And we had some good stuff. We slogged through some more of this Firestore rules stuff. Just, it's still there. We still have to fix it, and we're going to have to fix it more once we add organizations and stuff. But what we did do is we figured out how to run tests for our database, which is like a big deal. And we made a backlog of everything we need to work on for the rest of this whole entire startup, including what we need to do for our launch, roughly, what we need to do for our private beta tests, and we prioritize those tasks just roughly based off what we think we need to do to get to each one of those milestones and try to keep it lean and focused. So, I think some days better than others. Last video was definitely one where I was just struggling, but I think we kind of came through the muck to a pretty good degree, and I know that when it's time we're going to add organizations soon, we're going to add multiple boards or multiple slides per board. When that's time for all that, I feel pretty confident that we have like a test suite in place that we can use to make sure our rules are rock solid. And we also did play with Sketch and we started to play out like how this stuff is going to work. So maybe next time we need to do a little bit more of a more legit full like database diagram and see all the different collections we have. I don't usually do that, but this might be one that's worthwhile doing it for. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Probably see y'all later.